Okay, so a couple of people have been asking me to do a color swap tutorial, so here it is. Just a quick note, my way of doing color swaps require at least the base knowledge of how layers and blending modes work. If you don't know how they work, then I'd recommend watching someone else's tutorial on it, cause they could probably explain it better than I can. So first off, just get your two characters that you're gonna be color swapping and preferably put them on different layers, cause it's just easier to work with that way. And if you have a background that you want to keep, like this one, just duplicate it, turn off the one on the bottom, and then just erase the background on the top layer. So now we would have the character on one layer and the background on the other layer. Well, there's a character on that one as well, but it's gonna be on top of the other one, so you don't have to worry about that. Now what you're gonna do is create a new layer on top of the character layer and then clip it. And then change the blending mode to color. This will pretty much change whatever the base color is to the color that we're currently using. So here, let me just bring Toma up here so we can compare. So we're gonna take Toma's hair color and put it on Bennett's hair. But as you can see, it did turn yellow, but it's not the same as the color we're looking for. Color mode only changes the hue and saturation and not the brightness. Okay, then it's not dark enough. What do we do? Well, we're gonna have to mess with the brightness. The way I do it is just to duplicate the layer and change the one on the bottom to multiply. Now look, it's much closer to the color we want. Oh, and one way to check the colors between the two is to just eyedrop one of them and hold it over the other one. Which, as you can see, Bennett's hair is a tiny bit darker. What you can do here is just lower the opacity of the multiply layer. And here, look, now the color is identical. So yeah, basically I just have to fill his hair on one layer, duplicate it, then turn it into multiply mode. But then, okay, what do we do if we have a problem with the opposite? What if it's too dark? Okay, here. What if we want to take Bennett's hair color and put it on Toma's? It's too dark. What do we do? It's pretty much the same thing, just duplicate it, but this time we change it to overlay. And as you can see, it's much brighter already. Way too bright, actually. So again, just lower the opacity a little bit, and there we go. So this is how we deal with the problem when it's way too dark. And this is how we deal with the problem when it's way too bright. So one of the problems you might run into when you're using this tactic is that when you're color swapping a much darker color into a much brighter one, something like this will happen. One overlay layer does not make it light enough. What you can do here is just duplicate the overlay layer multiple times. But then these weird shadow pixels will start appearing, which you can't really tell from afar, but if it bothers you, then you can always just create a normal layer on top of everything, and then eyedrop one of the colors near it and paint it over with an airbrush, just to smooth it out. As for the eyes, I usually just draw over them myself on a normal layer and try to replicate the style. Also, one of the cons of using this method is that you're gonna end up having a billion layers, as you can see already. You can always combine two different color layers, but it makes it harder when you have to duplicate them, so I don't really do that. This is how many layers you usually end up with in one color swap. Yeah, there's a living shit ton of them. So yeah, this is how I do color swaps. It's actually really not that complicated, like at all. You just gotta understand how the layers work and you're good to go. If you have any more questions, then feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer all of them. Alright, see you guys!